Hi, guys. I want to talk to you about something that I noticed when I was looking through your current essays last night and providing feedback. I sort of noticed this common issue, so I thought I would address it so that you can have some advice today to be successful without me here. So, I want to show you that I've sort of taken on this slide here a essay graphic organizer. I've sort of created uh, an argument for myself for my first body paragraph. And I'm going to show you how I go about the process of getting my body paragraph written with the correct elements, particularly how to introduce text evidence, but then also one last elaboration strategy that for some of you might be really helpful. So, for starters, I'm going to practice year round schools are better because it provides a more balanced schedule. Well, I found a piece of text evidence that I think really fits that argument that says instead of a 3-month summer vacation, year round schools typically have several breaks of 3 to 4 weeks spread throughout the year. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to take that evidence, use it in my paragraph correctly, and then elaborate on it. So, for starters, the very first thing I need to include, on every body paragraph is what is called a topic sentence. So, the purpose of the topic sentence is to state your claim and provide the one argument that you're about to discuss. Um, we want to use some type of sentence stem here just to kind of show off to whoever is grading the essay, particularly on the state test AI. So we're going to start with one reason year-round schools are better than traditional schools. I'm not just going to say one reason year-round schools are better because that leaves the reader questioning better than what. So one reason year-round schools are better than traditional schools is because they provide a more balanced schedule. Okay, so I have my clear sentence stem. One reason. I have my argument, year-round schools are better than traditional schools, and then my reason, because they provide a more balanced schedule. Now, moving into the text evidence element of this, you need to make sure that when you have texts that have titles and authors, that you are actually providing us the name of the text and the name of the author. Because again, without those things, you're just asking us to trust that you aren't making up that text evidence. And so one of the things I notice that you guys are doing is saying something like, in Article 2, it says, or according to the text, it says, but we have a specific name, so we need to use it. So in this instance, I have my text evidence here, and I found that text evidence from the article called, it is the second article for me called, not year-round schools, but pros and cons of year-round schools. I don't have the article in front of me. I lost it. But I need to make sure that I'm using that exact article name before I cite the text evidence. So I will say, according to the article, the pros and cons, or no, it actually isn't that text. It is the year-round schools. Make sure I spell this right. Year-round schools don't boost learning, study finds. So I'm actually making it clear what article I'm grabbing that from. And now I'm also going to make it clear who said it. So, according to the article, Year-Round Schools Don't Boost Learning, Study Finds by Krishna Spencer, it says, and then I'll cite my text evidence. Notice that I have capitalized the entire name of the article and the name of the author. 3 to 4 weeks spread throughout the year. Perfect. So not only do I have the name of the article, the author of the article, but I have quoted a text a piece of evidence right out of the text, word for word. Some of you are still like changing the words around or shortening the words, and that is not text evidence then. That is paraphrasing. So again, you need to make sure that you have all of those things written precisely and directly right out of the text. Now, one of the things that some of you might want to consider trying today is this strategy for elaboration that I think might help some of you who get stuck in how to elaborate deeper. So I'm going to call this strategy the snowball strategy, because what you could do is every time you make a statement or a claim, you could snowball that statement by asking yourself something like, well, why is that good? Why is that good? Why might that be bad? Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. So in this paragraph, I've written that instead of a 3-month summer vacation, year-round schools typically have several breaks of 3 to 4 weeks spread throughout the year. As a writer, I'm going to start by asking myself, well, why is that good? 3 to 4 breaks spread throughout the year. And so my first part of my elaboration is going to be answering that. Why is that good? So I'm going to write, this evidence shows that students are getting more frequent breaks. And now I'm about to go into why that is good, which are beneficial for kids because they get time to refresh their brains. Refresh their brains. Let's start there. Okay. Then what we will do in this snowball effect is say, okay, kids get time to refresh their brains. What's good about that? What are the positive benefits of them getting time to refresh their brains? Well, from my knowledge, I'm going to say, well, if kids refresh their brains, then they maybe come to school and are more actively engaged in their learning. I would say, okay, if kids have time to refresh their brains, they aren't thinking about other things during the class time. They might be able to focus stronger. So I'm going to go there in the next step of my elaboration. So I'm going to say, when kids' brains are refreshed, they are more likely able to engage in the classroom learning experience because they aren't feeling overloaded or overwhelmed. Perfect. So then I'm going to snowball that again. Okay, kids are not feeling overloaded and overwhelmed. What would be the benefit of that? Them not feeling overloaded and overwhelmed. And then I'm going to take it there, the next part in my elaboration. So I'll say, this would allow students to actually enjoy the learning process and potentially learn more deeply. Let's go there. Okay, so this is going to allow them to actually enjoy the learning process because they're not feeling overwhelmed, allowing them to learn more deeply. And I could say, as a result, the balanced schedule with more breaks can give kids a chance to earn better grades. Because they will be more invested in their schooling. Okay, so there's the snowball. Every single thing I say, I would ask myself, what's good about that? What positive benefits could come from that? Or if I'm speaking on the negative side, I could go to the negative side and say, what's bad about that? Well, what are the consequences of that? If I keep asking myself those questions, it just gives me more to say. And now that I have more to say, my elaboration is increasingly longer. I know some of you aren't loving the strategy with the sentence stems. This shows, this proves, for example. Well, perhaps this one might help you because you can use this in any essay. Just kind of keep snowballing it. Okay, what's wrong with that? What's good about that? And so as you're writing today, please, please, please consider if you're stuck in the elaboration, maybe try this, everything you say. What's wrong with that? What's good with that? And see if it helps. Tomorrow, we'll do one last sort of edit together, but make sure your essay is finished tonight by 11:59 so that you're ready to do an edit tomorrow. All right, guys, see you tomorrow.